welcome back to Lakeside LifeCast Live, which we're not live. It's live for us, not live for you. This is episode 4, and I want to start this all off again by introducing our panel. We have Sam O, we have TJ Weary, and we have the wonderful Cami Taylor.
Hello.
And we are a slightly above average panel discussing all things Lakeside. And I need to start off with this question. How many times a day are you guys washing your hands? Cami, how many times do you wash your hands every day?
I think you need to start with Sam.
I need to start with Sam. Sam, how many times a day are you washing your hands?
Too much.
Why would you say that you're washing your hands too
He
much?
even started washing before all this.
Yeah, so this was like early February. I heard about what's going on in Asia, and my sister was telling me what's going on over there, and I kind of freaked out.
Your sister's in Korea?
Yeah, one of my sisters in Korea. So I constantly wash my hands once every hour. Like I would go into class, get out, wash my hands, go to the next class. And then maybe in the middle of the class, I feel like, I feel a little, like I got something on my hands. So I use hand sanitizer or something, and I had like a little burn on my hand. And it just wouldn't heal for like 2 weeks.
So you finally run into someone at church who is a dermatologist.
She specializes in dermatology.
And you say something along the lines of, what's going on in my hands? And she tells you...
Yeah, so I go, well, something's going on with my hand. She takes one look, and then within 3 seconds, she's like, you've been washing your hands too much. I was like, I have. She's like, congratulations, you gave yourself eczema because you washed your hands too much.
No, but that's incredible.
Yeah, so I told that to my friends, and like even at school, people they just died. Like it's so crazy.
But it healed up when she gave you some cream to put on.
Yeah.
All right, but listen, let's just be honest with the Lakeside community. Eczema is better than the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Like if you have to choose, take some dry hands, especially if you are in a vulnerable population.
The way I see it, I was just ahead of my time. That's all I think.
So how often are you washing your hands now?
Well, now I just kind of stay home, so I don't wash it, because as long as you don't go outside.
So when would you say the last time you have washed your hands, Sam?
Probably this morning when I took a shower. Oh. I'm offended.
You're having a hard time finding that middle ground, aren't you, Sam? Okay, let's move on here. I want a big announcement, Lakeside community. We have hired a new worship director, and he will begin on May the 1st. His name is Nathan Lockie, and so we're really excited that he's going to be coming on board May 1st. Hopefully, soon after then, we'll have church again. Isn't it weird that we haven't had church in so long?
The whole thing is weird.
I think, and so just so we tell people back home, the reason that we're doing this whole panel thing is so people can feel like they've got some community with their church people. So every week we just kind of have different people up here to talk about things, all things Lakeside, our community, just to see some of your friends, and hopefully you enjoy that. So knowing that Nathan is coming, and knowing that he probably cares less what any of us think about what the music should be at the church, here's the question. What song would you have Nathan start learning so that he could bring to Lakeside? Like, what's your current worship jam? Like, or it could be a hymn. The hymn that you really enjoy. Cami, what do you think?
Oh gosh. So there's no way I can choose just one, because like I get really tired of songs very quickly, even the songs I love. I have 3 written down.
Will you sing them for us?
No, absolutely not. There's one that's Phil Wickham wrote, and it's called Living Hope. And then there's another one that has a kind of a theme, I guess. And there's one that's called Hope Has a Name, and River Valley Worship sings it. And then Shane and Shane, which they always do really good stuff. It's Though You Slay Me. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah, that's the one with John Piper talking through it.
Yeah, it does. It has that one.
TJ, are you a music guy in general?
Not really, but when we're cruising in the car with the kids, we always have it on the Christian radio station. And so Adeline, our oldest, she's 4. She knows the words like everything. So her favorites are God Is on the Move and Lion and the Lamb. And then my personal favorite, I'm just kind of an old-timer guy, I guess. I love Amazing Grace.
Okay.
That's just my favorite hymn.
I
feel pretty confident that Nathan's going to have that.
I would hope he would.
I think he's going to have that.
Is that like a
bag.
prerequisite?
I think so, yeah.
Being a music director?
You have to be able to do that. Sam, what are your thoughts? You have some experience in leading worship in the contemporary setting.
That's a tough question.
I thought so.
It's like asking which of your kids you like the best.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have kids, but yeah. I would say if I had to name 2 on the top of my list, Yet Not I, but Through Christ in Me by this band named City of Light. I've been listening to
Yeah, I like
it.
City of Light.
It's been about a year now since I've heard that song, and I still listen to it. I was listening on the way over here. And The Lord Is My Salvation, that's really like one of my favorite songs. But I like the Shane and Shane version more than anything else.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So, yeah, those two on the top. I mean, but really anything by City of Light and any of like the somewhat traditional stuff by Shane and Shane, that's going to be my go-to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your jam.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, here's the deal. On Sunday in the sermon, we addressed this idea that the coronavirus was in no way fun for any of us, and that it was like a big old bag of lemons. But we asked the question: is there a way to make lemonades out of that, or lemonade singular out of that? And we talked about the fact that we've got more time on our hands than we've ever had, probably as Americans before, and maybe ever again in the life of our country. I can't imagine a generation before us just being told, sit home for 6 weeks, or hey, that's how long is it going to be by the time it's over, right? And not all of us are able to sit home all the time. There's small business owners that are having to go make payroll. There are definitely people who are in the grocery world and who provide goods and services, and those nurses who have to go work. But there's a lot of people who are told just to go home. And we talked about this idea that what Jesus seemed to be great at doing is this idea of leaving the crowds behind. And when he left the crowds behind, going and spending time alone with the Father. And I think one of the things we noted in the sermon is that oftentimes it's hard for people to spend time alone with God. Sam, talk to us a little bit. Why do you think it's hard for people to spend time alone with God?
Yeah, I think one of the things is like, at least I know in my life, sometimes it's not on the priority list. I think a lot of us just get really busy in life, and like it's just always right in front of us. So, and it's always accessible. So we kind of think I can do that whenever I want, and we don't set aside time for it, putting it priority, but we kind of put it as this thing where it's like it's always going to be there for me whenever I want to, and then we just kind of lose the will. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I always thought that way, and I always put my schedule first before my time with God. And it's confusing because I go to, school, and I'm a biblical studies major, so it's like we have to read for class and this and that. So it's like, yeah, I'm reading, Christian books, I'm reading the Bible, I'm doing devotions and stuff, but it's like, it's for school. You know?
It's possible to be doing all that stuff and it not be something that's where your heart is communing with the Lord, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And so what I find myself constantly doing is like, yeah, I did it at school today, I'm not going to do it at home. And it's just kind of, I don't mean to, but it just slowly falls off the priority list. And that's what kind of happens with me. And sometimes I just have to sit back and remind myself, you need to make time separately for all the things that you're doing in life. Put them aside for this one time that you make time for, and to really like read the Bible and to have quiet time with God. And so,
TJ, same question. Why do you think it's hard for people to spend time alone with the Lord?
Kind of what Sam is saying, it's almost too convenient, you know what I mean? Like, what's there, it's always there, but you just never really get around doing it because he's like, I'll just do it later, I'll do it tomorrow or something like that. And that's kind of the trap I fall into sometimes.
Like they take for granted.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing I've always really struggled with. My wife and I have really been trying to stay on top of each other when it comes to this read your Bible in a year thing.
Yeah.
And she used a quote a couple weeks ago about iron sharpening iron because I saw her doing it. I said, well, I better catch up, or else she's going to get too far ahead of me. And so that's been good for me, but still it's just finding that time. Even though I'm working from home right now, I'm like, I don't really have any free time though because the kids are at home too. So it still makes, my days still are just as jam-packed as they were before.
Your wife's at home too, isn't she?
Yeah, and she's at home too, or when it's been harder for her to work at home because the kids are all in her hair.
I saw that video on Facebook.
Yeah, I know, it's quite intense.
Yeah.
So she ends up going to the office sometimes she works at the Court of Appeals, so she has to like really just dive into her work, and there's kids in the background yelling and screaming. It's kind of hard to do that. So nap time is a key time for me, or when the kids finally go to bed, whenever they get there is when I try and do it, or when they're outside during the middle of the day. I take a break from work. I found myself being able to do it then. But again, like you're talking about, it's just finding time to do it and making it a point to do it, and just kind of devoting all of it to getting into the Word with God. But it's a challenge.
Cam, same question. Why do you think it's hard for people to spend time alone with the Lord?
I think one of the big keys is time, like everyone has said, making priority. But I was thinking about when I worked at a summer camp, and then I did retreats on the weekends, and sometimes we would be on all those acreage of land, and there wasn't anybody there, and I would try to go off to the edge of the cliff or on the canyon. It was on the edge of a canyon, so I'm not going on the edge of a cliff.
Please don't
I'm
jump
not,
off the edge of the cliff.
but and just try to like take my Bible or pray, and my mind was just so distracted. It's like that someone was saying, it's like having all the browser windows open, like you just start jumping in between. You can't. I would try to focus and pray and think about it, and all of a sudden, like my mind would just go left turn and think about something else.
So trying to spend time alone with God, you just got distracted.
Yeah,
A lot of
basically.
times, yeah.
Just whatever
And I think
rabbit
that's
trail
I think that's
followed.
pretty normal. I think it's a discipline, that you have to get involved in doing, because I think the more you do it, the better you get at that. But I do think in the early days that there are a lot of thoughts that creep in there, and if you're not disciplined and intentional, it's hard, isn't it?
Well, it is, and that was before kids and before all the other distractions. Making sure the bills are paid. What's the kids doing? Are they working on schoolwork? All these things that you think about right now that I didn't have to think about then, and I still had problems with it.
I look forward to talking more about this as we go on. That's it for us today, guys. Hope you're following along at home, having some good time with God. Now that you've got all this excess time on your hands, spend it by drawing close to the Father. Until next time, we'll see you again. Bye-bye.